Tariffs 2.0, How Trump's new trade fight is crushing U.S. farmers in 2025. When Donald Trump relaunched sweeping tariffs in 2025 promising to put America first, few realized that the true cost might land not on factories, but on the cornfields of Iowa and the cotton fields of Mississippi. Today, as markets shrink and costs soar, the very backbone of rural America is under siege. Export markets vanish. For decades, U.S. agriculture relied on large export markets, especially China, which once purchased tens of billions in U.S. soybeans, corn, and cotton. But in 2025, that market has almost evaporated. China has bought virtually no U.S. soybeans in recent months as it shifts to Brazil and Argentina. In parallel, trade data show U.S. agricultural exports to China falling by over 70% since early 2025, spelling disaster for farmers whose incomes depend on reliable foreign buyers. Rising costs hit the heartland. It's not just lost markets, it's the explosion of input costs. Tariffs on fertilizer, machinery, pesticides, and other agricultural inputs have pushed effective cost rates from around 1% to 10 to 12% or more in 2025. Farm debt is ballooning. Total farm sector debt is forecast to surpass $386 billion in 2025, while bankruptcies are already outpacing last year's levels. Corn and cotton in freefall. With major export destinations closing their doors, U.S. corn and cotton producers are facing glut, low prices, and minimal foreign demand. The collapse of Chinese purchases, combined with Brazil and other competitors ramping up output, means U.S. farmers are squeezed on all sides. In Kansas, for example, farmers report export cancellation, shrinking markets, and a bleak crop year outlook. Structural shift. The loss may be permanent. This isn't just a temporary shock. Analysts say even when trade rhetoric softens, China's diversification away from U.S. farm goods is unlikely to reverse. That means U.S. agricultural export strategies relying on old markets are at a crossroads, either adapt or face permanent decline. What farmers and policymakers must do: diversify export markets. Relying on one large buyer is now a risk, not a strength. Control input costs, lock in prices, seek domestic alternatives, and hedge where possible. Push for policy stability. Farmers need trade policy predictability more than tariffs. Support structural resilience. Smaller farms are especially vulnerable to export shocks and rising costs. Conclusion: policy promises versus reality. Trump's 2025 tariff strategy promised economic revival and protection of domestic industry. But for the U.S. agricultural sector, it has translated into lost buyers, broken supply chains, soaring costs, and mounting debt. The true cost may be counted not just in dollars, but in the disappearance of farms, the erosion of rural communities, and the decline of America's global agricultural standing. If trade becomes a battlefield, America's farmers may turn out to be the first casualties.